how to be more successful in self-exploration. The following metaphor helps you to free yourself from your programs. Written and read by Bernhard Kutzler. Self-exploration serves to answer the question, what am I? You explore yourself to find the programs that generate many of your actions and thoughts. If you then learn to master these programs, you can prevent them from creating untruthful behavior. When you do that, what remains is what you truly are. I have been practicing self-exploration since 2011 and have developed the metaphor described below. Imagine you are a detective inspector. Your boss calls and says, "There's been a crime at address XY. Find and convict the perpetrator." At the address, a body is lying on the floor with a knife in the chest. Your team secures the evidence. The next day, you receive the report. The knife has your fingerprints on it, only yours. There were skin particles with your DNA under the victim's fingernails. It seems to have fought back, and you have bloody scratch marks on your right forearm. A surveillance camera recording shows you entering the crime scene at the suspected time of the crime, and you have no alibi for that time. The evidence is clear, you are the murderer. What do you do now? You are both the criminal and the detective. As a detective, you must solve the crime. As the criminal, you will want to prevent the crime from being solved. If you want to free yourself from your programs, you are in exactly this situation. Many of your programs create untruthful behavior. They are the crimes you must prevent. There is a side of you that wants to find and master these programs, the detective in you, and there is the other side of you, the programs that don't want to be found and mastered, the criminal in you. This is reminiscent of a quote from Goethe's novel Faust. "Two souls, alas, are dwelling in my breast, and one is striving to forsake its brother. Unto the world in grossly loving zest, with clinging tendrils one adheres. The other rises forcibly in quest of rarefied ancestral spheres." Self-exploration is the battle between the detective in you and the criminal in you. It is like mental kung fu with yourself. The criminal in you creates 99% of your daily behavior and thinking. If this number seems too high to you, read my articles, Why the Question What Am I is Important and Magical, and How to Become What You Truly Are in 7 Steps, or my book Being Free, Get Out of the Box. Accepting this frighteningly high number is a prerequisite for becoming free. Before you can leave a prison, you must accept you are in prison. As long as you convince yourself that you are not in prison, you cannot leave. Only about 1% of your behavior and thoughts are non-automatic. The detective must emerge from this 1%. The criminal in you is as fit as a fiddle. He knows all the tricks to hide his crimes because he has done nothing else all his life. The detective in you starts out as a complete beginner. So getting rid of your programs begins as a David versus Goliath battle, detective versus criminal. But as skillful and fit as the criminal is, he has a weak point. His crimes follow patterns. This makes the criminal predictable, and this is the only chance the detective has. The detective has to find the criminal's patterns, that is, the programs. Then he is one step ahead of the criminal. He can recognize the emergence of crimes before they happen and therefore prevent them. And it is important that he does this. Every time you behave according to a program, you strengthen it. Every time you behave differently, you weaken it. The more programs you have weakened, the freer you are. Using the detective criminal metaphor means observing yourself during self-exploration. With this, you are adding the level of a chief inspector. The criminal in you will try to convince the detective in you that the observed behavior is not coming from a program. Or he will try to distract you. When this happens, and the chief inspector in you notices it, explore the strategy the criminal has just used to try to trick you. This strategy is a program that the criminal uses to hide his crimes. But if you fall into the trap, you, both the detective and the chief inspector, have lost this one fight. Never mind, you will always lose fights. The detective in you starts out as an inexperienced beginner, while the criminal in you is an expert in committing crimes and concealing them. And he knows all your weaknesses. One of my weaknesses is crime movies. I still fall into this trap from time to time, which catapults me out of self-exploration every time. Self-exploration begins as a battle of 1% detective versus 99% criminal. Over time, it can become 2% versus 98%, then 3% versus 97%, and so on. The most important thing is to never give up. The detective needs practice and time to get fitter and fitter until he is finally fitter than the criminal. There's a Japanese proverb that goes, "Fall down 7 times, get up 8 times." The chief inspector's perspective helps me to get up again. The criminal in you will never completely disappear. The reason is that you live in an environment with programmed people, and interacting with them constantly reinforces or reactivates your programs. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Jim Rohn. It is important to recognize and accept both sides in yourself, that of the detective and that of the criminal, and neither to underestimate the criminal nor to overestimate the detective.